So I want to go over some of this material we got here, and then we could walk through like the landing page. So this is catered to who? Like, who do you see wanting to download this? Like, what's their situation or their story?
So either they're experiencing some type of issue like workplace bullying, and they just need a point of reference to kind of plan out how they're going to address it, basically. So this is giving them a little bit of education about, how to handle the situations, and then the template is here.
Oh, so this is how it's going to be one document.
Yeah.
If it goes this way.
Right. So it'll give them an example. So for example, this person is saying that they're being bullied by their manager, and then they outline exactly what's happening, and then they themselves kind of brainstorm about what they can do to address the issue, and then they commit to doing those things.
Okay.
Basically.
Now I think this is good, especially even when you have the when we were talking about the webinars and stuff like that. Like it's still a good. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah. You ready? You ready?
No.
Yeah, you ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? This is good to have, but like when they're engaging with you and talking back and forth, especially because they have chat and stuff like that, like it's gonna really boost credibility, like through the roof, and make it where people actually see you as that figure, to where they know that they can trust you. And so let's see. I want to look at the email sequences. So for you to say, "I am proud of you," a fantastic thing. Do they know who you are at this point? Is that an assumption, right? So to say I'm proud of you, like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are we assuming that they trust you at this point? Because you're like, thank you for trusting me, but do they? Like, they haven't committed to anything. They're like maybe downloading, the free material. If they're going to, the webinar and things like that, now it's starting to show that there's a level of trust. There's a level of, or just seeing you, as what you are, like a credible person. And so like if I see a bunch of text, if it's not broken up with something that kind of draws my attention, I guess you either have to really be into it or you'll need something to kind of,
Yeah, because this is my actual introduction of myself.
Yeah.
So
We could have like an area on the site or something like that that's like about me or something like that, and just have a link, because that extra text that's there is so like, it's a big block.
it is.
And that adds to the intimidation or just like how it could be perceived. Like it's just like a lot of stuff. So maybe it's better for us to have that information somewhere else and just link to it so that that'll lessen the weight. It doesn't look as heavy. Listen. We think that the top 3 things is what? Bullying, harassing, and discrimination?
Yeah.
Those are the top 3?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the same order we need to have the self-help in the app, right? If they're top 3?
Yes.
Okay.
What if instead of having all this, I do a video and embed it?
I think that's good too, but you can also do both. You can be like, hey, if you don't feel like reading this, just, click here or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So you could do both. I think transparency is key. Transparency is key because that's so important.
Yeah.
Like you can't be hiding things expecting someone to help you solve a problem.
Yeah.
We're just looking at it right now. It's like we need to build as many relationships as possible, but we also have to think about like what's the most effective way, because I don't want your whole day like just talking to people every 15 minutes that if you don't have a service to offer right then and there, which you do, right? So
I do.
yeah, so for them to convert into customers right there, why not? I like how you like saying you're not sticking to the straight talk. You're being conversational,
Right.
So that's gonna definitely work well with people. If this is gonna be like an every 2-week thing, then if we map it out, 2, 5, 10 weeks, right? That's over 2 months, 2.5 months. So at 2.5 months, you're gonna be kind of close to launch. By the time they hit that 5th, they're already getting the webinar, even more information, week 10, and now they could be ready for the download. Because part of the webinar is now you're gonna really be talking. You're gonna be able to hold up your phone by then.
Yeah.
and say like, hey, look, this is early. We're gonna be launching this very soon. You know, so they can see it. They can see that it's real. There's another tool for you to use, right? And if they've already built this relationship with you over this 10-week course of time, like, you know, it'll put us in a better position. So you ain't gotta focus on the images so much. But like we wanna get whatever message it is that we wanna get across. So we can have like, they need to learn about the different things. Like they need to know that there's self-help. They need to know that there's chat, there's open a case. We're always gonna be trying to collect emails. So this text is just like placeholder text, but we wanna think about like what will grab their attention. Like when we really think about the audience, like what is their real like deep burning concern? Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and go into development with this so we can have this done. So you can expect this. We'll probably have this landing page today, Monday, later on this week. So we'll have this up. We're gonna need to probably do a video ad of you talking to the people to get them to go to the webinar, because they're gonna wanna see and hear from the person that's actually gonna be there instead of us just putting a picture. Like we need to capture like you know, in your element, talking your talk, saying, hey, look, so now you need to go ahead and sign up. After we do the first one, that's live, then we can have it recorded and you can repurpose it and just put it in a loop and have people schedule for the different times. And then we try to collect these emails, right? As we're going through it, you also need to be thinking about different partnerships, right? How we were talking before. Let's think of other people that deal with these same people. Like, who do these people see before and after you? And then we need to start reaching out to those people that already have a following before and after you, right? So that way we can start to say like, okay, where do they go before they come to me and where do they go after me? You know already legal is an after, right? So what type of employment attorneys and things like that do we know that we could possibly reach out to and start to build a relationship with? And that starts now, because like relationships obviously take time. It's like we just give them that energy and we get that energy back, start to build these different relationships, because it all has to come together at the end. And we looking like 3 months, so it's like grind time.
Yes.
It's grind time. So if we want to launch next week and start to have the landing page there, start to think of some ads. So I think the next thing to do is let's start to think of some ads and show like some funny thing to lighten the mood, but let's make sure that it actually fits the message, you know, because we don't want them to think that we're joking around with the real situation.
Right.
But if the ad is written lightly enough, I think like you can tie a little bit of, you know, smile or smirk or laugh to it, you know. I got it. All right, we cool?
So,
Feel good?
I'm scared.
Scared of
I'm
what?
not scared.
I know you're not scared, see?
I'm really excited.
I know. You should be excited.
I'm really excited.
After dealing with her for some time now, you know, a lot of times if you go to the HR department, people naturally say like, that's a part of the business, that's a part of the company. How can I complain to the company about the company? People are afraid of retaliation, so a lot of times they keep it bottled up inside, or they just deal with the harassment. So yeah, she's really determined. She's been doing her thing for a while now. She's looking to expand. She wants to adopt this in her practice. And one of the things that she was talking about was if she wanted to make a subscription base. And that's when we got into the whole thing about, you know, so many times, you know, businesses, they want to, you know, make these assumptions, and they want to say, you know, think for people, think for their users, think for their customers. And you end up wasting a lot of time and money and energy trying to guess. So that's when that surveying comes in. You need to actually identify your audience and just ask the simple question and get that answer, right? So that's one of her homework items. Every week, anyone that has an app with our company, Bleeding Bulb, they have homework. So there's always something to do. Just because you're getting your app developed doesn't mean there isn't things you need to do before the launch, before development, during development, and after development. Like, there's plenty of things that need to be done. And so we just make sure that they work towards it, so that different things are happening at different times to put them in the best position for success. Like a lot of clients, you know, they get so anxious and they get so concerned about like perfection. And it's not that I'm so stuck on perfection. For a long time I was. For a long time I would push back dates, just push back. Trying to make it perfect. But the reality is you can never be perfect. It would never be perfect. And you end up just wasting a lot of time because everything that you really need to do, in many cases, it requires feedback. It requires other people to get involved. So it's going to be very rare that you're going to come up with something. No matter if it's you and the team, like you're trying to, especially if it's a product that you're trying to push out to so many people, if you operate in a bubble, you know, it's just not going to go well. So I think right now for me, it's just really letting go of certain things and not being so caught up on releasing everything, you know, next week or the week after. It's okay. You know, sometimes it makes sense to slow down. You know, sometimes it is smarter to slow down. Sometimes it's more effective to slow down. Sometimes you are more successful by slowing down. It's not always about speeding up. And that's something that you can easily get caught up in. It seems so elementary. But sometimes you need that other perspective, and that's the importance of team. You need someone else to challenge. You need someone else to look at the situation in a different light so that they can say, like, look, you sure we won't be more successful just slowing down? You sure we won't be more successful if we just focus on one thing? We kind of already got this down pat. Like, let's roll with this. Makes perfect sense.